Looking for a remote job is exhausting, all that searching, filtering, scrolling. So that's why in just a few minutes, I'm going to give you the highlights of a nice handful of legitimate remote jobs hiring right now. Jobs doing data entry, scheduling, customer support, processing documents, and entry-level HR positions. And you know what? These jobs are pretty good payers too, and they're really not requiring a whole lot of related work experience. I got these jobs directly off the company's careers page within their website after checking the company for legitimacy. Let's scan through them. Thrive Global is looking for a full-time customer success associate to work remotely anywhere within the United States. I did not see any location restrictions anywhere on this job description. In this position, you'll help design and launch processes, workflows, and automations that drive internal efficiencies. You do some webinar and event support, deliver product demos, do some basic platform customization, and handle Tier 1 customer support requests. They'd like you to have experience with managing multiple calendars in various time zones, and you're comfortable scheduling at a global level. You also enjoy learning new technologies, and you have experience working across different web platforms, especially customer support and project management tools. You have experience using Salesforce, G Suite, Qualtrics, ChurnZero, and Microsoft products. You also have a working knowledge of other data and/or customer management tools. You have experience in coordinating multiple events and schedules with precision and in a timely manner. You have a track record of building trust amongst peers to help deliver exceptional client-facing experiences. And then you need your typical soft skills. And as far as the salary, scrolling down this job description, they tell us they'll pay you between $75,000 and $85,000 per year. Foundation Finance Company is looking for someone to do some document processing and customer service. They have an opening for a stipulation specialist. This is a full-time remote position in the United States. However, they're only hiring in 31, maybe 32 states within the United States. So take a look at your screen. Hopefully you live in one of the states you see highlighted on your screen right now. So yeah, in this position, you're going to process documents and you're going to do some customer service. Basically, you're going to process stipulation documents and review those documents against company requirements, communicate with dealers to answer questions, resolve issues, and provide information, and verify loan terms with new customers, answer customer service calls, and process customer payments over the phone. And what they want from you is an associate's degree in business, finance, communication, marketing, or related field, or if you don't have an associate's degree, 1 year experience in underwriting or lending. You can read, analyze, and interpret common scientific and technical journals, and you know basic math. And as far as the pay, scrolling back up this job description, they tell us they'll pay you between $18.50 and $20 per hour. Okay, so moving on. National Debt Relief is looking for a benefits and wellness coordinator to work full-time remotely anywhere within the United States. No location restrictions anywhere on this job description. And they do tell us on this job description they'll pay you between $25 and $29 per hour. So in this position, you'll assist with the day-to-day benefits administration, including medical, dental, vision, life, disability, and voluntary benefits. You also coordinate the annual open enrollment and support benefits-related communications, FAQs, and intranet updates. So yeah, in this position, you're going to do all things related to benefits for the company's employees. They want you to have a high school diploma, a bachelor's degree is preferred, and it's just preferred, it's not required, and they'd like you to have 1 year experience in benefits, well-being, or HR administration. And you're familiar with benefit plan design, open enrollment, and well-being program management. So that brings us to our next full-time entry-level remote job. It comes to us from Easy Cater. This one is for a candidate experience associate. They have a location to be Boston, Massachusetts. That's just where this company is headquartered. I did not see anything on this job description stating you need to live in the Boston, Massachusetts area. So in this job, you'll power the recruiting operations. That means you'll be responsible for owning candidate communications, coordinating interviews, and supporting a best-in-class hiring process. Most of your time will be spent coordinating and scheduling multi-phase panel interviews across multiple time zones and varying levels of complexity. And all they want is 1 to 2 years prior experience in a recruiting or administrative coordination role, especially in a tech or high-growth company. You're familiar with tools like Google Workspace, Zoom, Slack, and an ATS. You can work standard Eastern or Central time zone hours. And you have a genuine interest in recruiting operations or people-focused functions. And look here, right here on this job description, they tell us for this entry-level remote job, they'll pay you anywhere from $56,400 up to $73,000 per year. So that brings us to Bamboo Health. They have an opening for a clinical administrative support specialist to work full-time remotely anywhere within the United States. This is a contract hourly position working about 40 hours per week. So you do a whole bunch of data entry from incoming patient care coordination requests, update the Salesforce Health Cloud with patient-specific tasks, communicate with outpatient treatment providers via phone to confirm appointment attendance. You'll also update patient lists, work with hospital discharge planners to coordinate discharge notifications and appointment details, and create and maintain schedules for clinical staff. And for this job, they'd like you to have 2 years experience in outpatient clinical office roles, either in a brick and mortar or virtual medical or behavioral health practice. You have experience with technology solutions that support clinical workflows. You're proficient using Microsoft Word, Excel, and Outlook. And they prefer, but they don't require, they prefer you're familiar with Salesforce Health Cloud. And when it comes to the salary, I'm just scrolling around to see if they tell us how much they pay, and I don't see it anywhere on this job description. But based on my experience looking at similar roles, I think this job will pay anywhere from about $22, $23, maybe up to $25 per hour. But there's no way I can guarantee that. That's just based off of my experience looking at similar jobs. You'll have to work out your salary with them. Okay, so next up we have Hanger Clinic. They have an opening for an intake specialist to work full-time remotely anywhere within the United States. In this job, you'll work 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time zone hours. You don't have to live in the Pacific time zone, just translate your local hours to those hours. And what you do is receive incoming calls from patients and schedule various appointment types for multiple locations. You need a high school diploma or equivalent, and they'd like you to have at least 2 years related experience in a medical office or call center. And they list some preferred qualifications, and whenever I see preferred, that tells me they're just preferred. They're not required, but read through these preferences. If you meet any of them, make sure to include them on your resume. You have a working knowledge of HIPAA and other medical insurance regulations and terminology for private payer, state, and federal plans, including coding, billing, and reimbursement protocols. You're comfortable using computers, and you have a working knowledge of medical coding. Now, when it comes to the salary, they tell us right here they'll pay you between $17.75 and $23 per hour. Plus, you get benefits and a bonus up to 5% of your base pay, depending on bonus criteria. So that does it for this one. Let's move on to our next remote opportunity. It comes to us from Parkinson's Foundation. This is for a digital communications coordinator. It's a full-time remote position anywhere within the United States, no location restrictions. And as far as the salary, scrolling down this job description, they tell us they'll pay you between $50,000 and $55,000 per year. So they tell us in this position you'll play an instrumental role in the creation and implementation of the Foundation's digital strategy, including maintenance and accessibility of Parkinson.org and email and SMS communications. You'll also be responsible for publication of content as well as review of member-generated content and email communication with members to resolve issues. So that's the gist of what you're going to do in this position. They have more details if you're interested. They prefer, but they don't require. They prefer you have a bachelor's degree, and they want you to have at least 2 years experience in online communications, including web publishing, email production, and marketing automation. You have a working knowledge of website tools and software, as well as a working knowledge of graphic and web design software. And you have a solid understanding of Google Analytics and conversion tracking with the ability to generate, analyze, and interpret data. So there you go, that sums up this one. In fact, we just went over a nice handful, a pretty good selection of remote jobs. Hopefully one of them works out for you, but if not, check out this video right here. And if all of these jobs are a little too advanced, you're looking for something that doesn't require experience or is beginner friendly, check out my other channel, Kat Lewis. So have a great day, take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.